right, welcome everyone. It is Sunday night. We are here for our Fromage with Friends number 2. If you missed the first one, it was Gouda. This one is all about Brie tonight. So I've got Christina with me.
Hello.
I'm Sarah. We're both up here at the Del Mar shop. Gina is off screen today. She's going to be fielding our questions. If you have a YouTube account, you'll be able to ask questions in the chat, and Gina will field them to us. We'll answer them for you. If you don't have a YouTube account, no problem. You can still watch and enjoy, and hopefully we'll answer your questions anyways. So what are we going to be tasting tonight, Christina?
Lots of good stuff. So we are going to try 5 different Brie-style cheeses. So in the upper left-hand corner, we have Green Hill, which is a domestic Brie. Then we have Herb Dauphinois over here in the corner with the little green in it. Then in the bottom corner here, this is Brie Savarin, a triple cream. And then over here, the Florette, which will be a goat milk. And in the middle, the best for last, Camembert, not Camembert. What was it?
Cabaret.
Cabaret.
Before we were talking about all the mispronunciations that we get on these cheeses. It's just too funny.
Yes.
But I think first, we need some wine.
Yes.
So we're gonna open. Oh, that's Gina's glass waiting off camera. Let's see if I.
Is that a hit?
Woo! There we go.
One of the best sounds in the world. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now I can do my
Ooh,
job.
no spill. Look at that.
Thank you.
So we're gonna be drinking champagne tonight, but I think any sort of sparkling wine in general really pairs nicely with any sort of Brie. It's just the perfect contrast of texture and flavor. You know, the wine's a little bit acidic, the bubbles really help to kind of scrub away that creaminess that lingers in your mouth. It's just like opposites attract, Brie and champagne. So cheers.
Cheers.
And to everyone out there, whatever you're drinking, cheers.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we met, right here at this table.
The stable.
At the job interview.
We weren't drinking wine then.
No. That came later. So, where should we start? The queen of cheeses. What is Brie? So Brie is probably the most famous French cheese. I'm gonna start eating because this is our dinner and I'm hungry. So
we've been here all day.
Yes. So
what are we having first?
We are having Green Hill first, which is in the upper left-hand corner. It is a domestic Brie from a dairy called Sweetgrass, and in Georgia. And let me just get a bite first, and then we can talk about this.
So right next to the Green Hill, we actually have some jam for you. Doing something a little bit different today. This is an apricot chili jam. I think apricot's sweetness is really going to pair nicely with the Brie, but I think Brie and spicy go well together too. Something a little bit different, just playing off the creamy butteriness with something a little bit more unique, a little bit kind of offsetting.
So this one's really like mild, really mellow. I think it would be good with anything spicy. I didn't try it with the spicy.
We've got a cheers for you from Kristen, Jennifer, and Ryan.
Yeah.
Bottoms up, cheers.
This one's just like a really easy snacking Brie. I feel like you get a really, I don't want to say moldy flavor, but I feel like you really taste the rind on this one.
Yes, and
I ate the rind.
yes. I don't like the rind, but the rind is completely edible. So
On all of these.
all of these, I forgot to point that out in the very beginning. So please feel free to eat the rind. Go ahead. I totally spaced
I
out.
put cheese in my mouth.
Oh.
So it's interesting. We just did a little like Mangra education with Sweetgrass Dairy. They had sent us some cheese, and we did a Zoom call with them. So we got to learn a bunch of stuff about their dairy, and they actually use, a grazing management farming style. So they take the cows and they just let the cows be cows, is what they say. The cows just kind of walk around and eat all day long. It makes them the happiest. They live the longest. They are moved to a new pasture every 12 hours. So that keeps them always eating fresh grass. and it always keeps the other grass growing that they're not on so that they can eat later. And because the winter is pretty mild in Georgia, they do actually get to eat fresh grass all year long. So that kind of ties back to the name of the creamery, Sweetgrass Dairy. The cows are constantly eating this sweet, fresh grass. So I feel like you're really going to taste the difference in the cheeses. It does have that kind of sweetness, just like the nice.
It does. I taste like brown butter. And
Oh, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and I really like that. And the rind isn't too bad.
Did you try it?
I did got it in a bite and I recognized it. And so it's okay not to eat the rind if you don't want to eat the rind. In France, it is considered bad manners, so in France, eat the rind. But here, it's told whatever you want to do. I didn't know this, but the rind, how it comes to be is so there is mold added when you make the cheese. And the mold will grow outside of the cheese like little flowers, and it'll bloom up. And then the cheesemaker will come by with gloves on and pat it down, and then it develops like a layer of skin on the outside that protects the cheese. And it's supposed to complement the cheese, and I'm sure it does, but I'm just not a fan of the rind. Do you like the rind?
I like the rind. I've always grown up eating the rind. I think that was like our fancy snack whenever my mom would make me go to the grocery store with her. It's like, oh, we'll get some Brie for lunch. And that was just, we ate the rind. I like the texture of it. I like just the contrast of texture.
Well, I will try the rind on everything on here with you guys, and then maybe I'll find one that I like.
Okay.
We'll see. I'll let you know. How is everyone liking the Green Hill?
We've got a thumbs up
Thumbs
and
up.
a yum. Mm-hmm.
What about the apricot jam?
Oh, I didn't try it with the Brie. I've tried it before.
The thing with the bread is like, because we were chewing on it, and it's like, hold on, I'm eating it.
It's not that spicy. I'm not a big a wimp when it comes to spice. I really try. But this one's really good. The sweetness, I feel like balances it nicely.
Sarah, can you touch for Carol? Hi, Carol. About Green Hill's other cheeses, the Sweetgrass Dairy's other cheeses.
Oh yeah, so they have one called Thomasville Tome that I think we have some right now that we stock. It is a classic tome style. One thing about Green Hill is that they really focus on the tradition in old world cheese making style. So they make classic cheeses. They have one called Griffin that I've tried. It's like a sweeter, it's named after one of their sons, Griffin. Sweeter, semi-firm, like hard rinded cheese. We also carry their Asher Blue. Asher is their other son. So, that one is a firmer blue cheese. And they said that one was actually the most difficult for them to make. That the blue cheeses are the most finicky. And that was like, it's a husband and wife that own Sweetgrass Dairy. And that was her husband's just like passion project. He had to get this blue cheese down. And, I think it's really great. It's on the nuttier side, not so much a creamy blue, more of like a salty, crumbly blue. Really nice for salads because it keeps its shape. But they have a bunch of good stuff. Oh, they make pimento cheese too. I had never had pimento cheese until I had theirs, and so I feel like I'm already spoiled because they make it with their Thomasville Tome. So they make it with really nice artisan cheese.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it's really good. They say put it in a sandwich. I just tried it on baguette and it was really good. But they have some really great stuff, and they're, here in the United States, always supporting the local cheesemakers, or local here, since it's been so difficult importing cheese lately.
Ooh, with the berries, it's good too. Like that.
Oh yeah, I feel like our plate's a little bit different today.
Oh, yeah.
We've got some nice berries on here. I like berries with my Brie. It just feels like a dessert cheese.
It is. It definitely is. And then, I wanted to put berries on there because it does go good. We put chocolate-covered figs as well, and we put cranberries because that tartness I think helps with like the creamy butteriness of the Brie. Mm-hmm. And then Marcona almonds are always good, so we got that on there.
What's our next one?
And the next one is going to be the herb dauphinois. So this one is from France, and if you look at it, you can tell the herbs. It's going to be covered in parsley, chervil, and chives.
There's some garlic in there too.
Oh, and garlic. Mm-hmm. And garlic, of course. And it is a double cream cheese. And how how they make this cheese is they use a process called ultrafiltration. And what that means is that they take out the water from the milk, and that's going to allow it to be this more luscious, smoother texture that's different from traditional Brie. Traditionally, Brie meant something specific. It meant that it was a cheese from France, that it was made from cow's milk, northern France, I think, and that it was a wheel that weighed about 6.5 pounds. We can't get cheese that is less than 60 days if it's made from raw milk.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have traditional, like what Brie is known as. So these are all Brie style cheeses. And so the double cream, as you notice, it's going to be a little different than if like a Brie Fromage, right?
Yeah, like a Brie de Meaux.
Yes, yes. And so Brie de Meaux is actually one of the only cheeses I think is protected.
The Brie.
Yeah. Brie de Meaux and Brie de Melun.
Oh. So we put these little white flowers. It's so cute next to the herb dauphinoise. These are actually chive flowers, onion flowers. So it kind of matches perfectly with the onion and the chive of the fromage.
So you could eat them. We have big fans of the Brie ladies, the first ones, and suggestion from Ryan of putting some of berries in your champagne because that's such a good trick too. So I said I would let you know.
Oh, right.
Who's this Ryan guy?
I don't know, but he's got good ideas.
That's Christina's Ryan.
That's you, Ryan. Oh,
But I'm doing it. Just hope there's no cheese on the berries before I put them in the champagne.
It's all the same. It's all the same. It's fine.
But everyone knows Fromage Document, right? I mean, that has been our #1 selling cheese every year that we've been open for the past 17 years of Venissimo now. Always our top selling. I'd say we go through a wheel a day at Del Mar at least. It's about a 4.5, 5 pound wheel. So we go through a lot of fromage. And this is just like, you know,
And that's it right there.
do you want to hold it close to the
Yeah,
camera?
let's do that.
Oh,
This is just like a new and improved version of the one that everyone loves.
Take it off the plastic wrap because I want to show them something on the cheese. Okay, so this is Dauphinoise right here. And see, all of this is going to be that mold that they patted down to build this skin. And if you look at it, you'll see this like kind of line of the cheese. This is called the cream line. Brie cheeses ripens from the outside in. And so the skin, the mold, it breaks down the live, like the proteins in it. And so then you get this like really glistening layer that's super good. It's very gooey. It just adds another level.
Yeah, it's softer. Can generally be more, like a little bit stronger. Like if you've had Humboldt Fog, that has a thick cream line on the outside that you can really see the different colors and textures. I think it just adds a layer of, another layer of goodness to the drink or to the cheese.
Yeah, no, definitely. I like this one a lot. I like the.
You hadn't
I
had
never
it
had it before. No, I like. This is my first time having it.
oh, first time. Sarah, question: what else would you do with that cheese, the herbes dauphinoise?
Oh man, let's see. You could do like the baked Brie that everyone loves. Put some puff pastry around it and just bake it, and it'd be like a nice dip. You could. There's this baked mushroom dish I like to make that
That's
has.
what I was thinking. Like mushroom, stuffed mushroom, something with mushrooms.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the herbed Brie, because you're already putting fresh herbs in there. You're putting some cheese. Might as well do an herbed Brie. I feel like a mushroom dish would be nice too. Or on a flatbread, or like some pizza. You can do anything with the Brie.
Finger.
Oh, or a spoon. We were talking about kind of what we want to do for our next Divas dinner, and the topic of doing sliders came up. But like putting this on a burger, that would be so delicious. Like the onions and chives, garlic, and the Brie. Oh my gosh.
Sign me up.
That's
I'm
a
ready.
Venissimo burger.
Yes.
You can taste test.
Oh yeah. Quality control. I need another one just to make sure.
This one's not as good as the first one. Better try a third.
Oh man, that's so funny.
So what are these chips we're having too?
Oh yeah, we had the option of adding the black truffle chips. They are amazing. I forgot I had them, so now I'm excited. And I believe Dawn used these on her sandwiches with the Dine with the Divas, right?
We use these chips a lot.
So So you must come and try them if you haven't.
But I feel like truffle chips, brie, champagne, it's like trifecta, perfect meal for us right here. So
It's so hard being a cheesemonger, you know? It's like, this is our dinner.
I know.
Life's so hard. That's funny. Oh, I need to try the rind on this one.
Okay, so the rind of this one, you can see it's coated in those herbs, and then the herbs are also throughout the cheese. So the herby flavor is just going to be stronger on the rind as well. I almost feel like the rind is, I was going to say a little bit softer, but it's not. If you eat it on a cracker, you cannot taste you can't tell that there's a rind.
I ate it on the truffle chip because that would help.
Was it good?
It was good. It was good. So the mold that they add to cheese to make this rind is called, all right, here we go, Penicillium canidum.
There we go. Nice. She's asking me how to pronounce all these words. I'm like, I can be no help.
This girl, you're on
to
your own. So that's what gives it that kind of look right here, that smooth whiteness.
Like firmer.
Firmer, yes.
Mhm.
Now, sometimes they use mold, sometimes they use yeast. And when they add the yeast called Grechacum,
Geotrichum.
I was way off.
There you go.
Okay. You're on this journey with me too. We are learning together.
Mm-hmm. She'll be a pro next year.
Yeah, next year. Tune in. So when you use the yeast, it's going to make this more like wrinkly, like kind of like a brain look on the cheese. Yeah, your turn.
And what's this cheese? We went over the pronunciation of this one.
Mangra.
Mangra. There we go. See, it looks like a brain. It's all wrinkly.
And cheeses that use the mold are going to be more mild, whereas when they use the yeast, more like sweeter and like maybe a little more nuttier.
Okay. Like more flavor to the rind.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And then this one, the Briotte Severin, is going to have this fluffy, like a cloud. And I believe this one uses
Geotrichum.
Ah, we're making up new things.
That's what I'm here for.
There you go.
I know this one you like poke it and it like goes in. You don't want to wreck it, but it's just like it feels. If you ever get your hands on a full wheel of brie, you just want to poke it.
And then that's their third cheese on the plate, so you might be able to try them out. Oh yeah, I got the rind. Okay, I'm gonna try this rind.
This one is so thin on the Briotte Severin. It almost doesn't exist.
Now, Briotte Severin is a triple cream cheese. And now you may have heard double cream, triple cream. What that means is that they are adding cream to the milk before it curds. And so double cream is between 60 to 74% butter-fat, and a triple cream is anything over 75. So this is the closest thing you can get to eating butter without eating butter.
An acceptable
Socially,
way to eat
yes,
butter.
exactly. So this one's super popular in the store too.
Mm-hmm.
People love this one.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get over there.
It's more tangy, almost like a whipped texture, very light.
Yeah.
I feel like when I think of double cream and triple cream, in my mind, the triple cream should be more thick, like the fromage, but it's not. It's like the other way around. It's like the more cream, so I guess almost like whipped cream. The more cream you have, it's like lighter, like whipped cream. Mm-hmm. But this one, it's like salty, light. I feel like you can eat more of it because it's so light. Yeah, it's like eating butter.
But good butter, like
fancy French butter. This one has that cream line too. Much less of it, I think, than the fromage, but you can kind of poke around the rind and see some parts that are really very thin and runny, and those are just the most delicious little bites.
Can you tell us who Briotte Severin was?
He was a French lawyer and politician who wrote a book called The Physiology of Taste, and that's who the cheese is named after.
He's famous for saying, "Tell me what you eat, and I'll tell you who you are."
Oh, I didn't hear that. That's a good one.
That says a lot about us.
Cheese, champagne, truffle chips.
We're fancy.
We're pretty cool.
Yeah, we're awesome. What else would be good with the Briotte? Like honey, for sure.
Yeah, honey and brie go really well.
Can you cook with it?
Yeah.
Like,
same sort of thing. You could do a baked brie, put it on a sandwich. We do the brie and fig jam sandwich is really good. That's everyone's favorite. But I think, is it good with the apricot jam? Did you try that one too?
Okay.
If
Oh,
you
with the
have to.
rind, with the rind.
I just like it with the fresh berries on the side and the apricots. That's my favorite way to eat
It's
it.
nice to go between like that buttery to the sweetness of the lightness of the fruit, you know? I'm curious to know how many people watching, do you guys all eat the rind? Am I alone? Am I the only one not eating the rind?
We'll see if we get some answers
Yeah.
on the rind.
I mean, all the parties I go to, the only thing left at the end of the day is the sad little rind of the cheese.
Which you can't do. Bad manners, they say. Like I would, if I was at a party, and I would take a proper piece. Oh, so when you cut the brie, it's point the brie. You want to cut it at an angle. You don't want to cut it horizontal and mess it up because you're not leaving enough rind and cheese enough for the next person. So
essentially, like, always keep it in a wedge.
keep it always in a wedge.
Like, if I were to cut a piece off of this to serve myself, I'd cut, like, here, right?
Yes, exactly.
Rather than, like, off the tip.
Exactly. And then I'll separate it on my plate. So that way no one
Take
needs
your
to
rind
know.
off.
Yeah. Because we're fancy. We do it right. So
We got 3 yeses on the rind.
Oh, good.
Carol,
All right.
Kristen, and Jennifer
All
always
right.
eat the rind.
always. I'm working my way up.
You can do it.
I can do it.
As you are a cheesemonger for longer and longer, you just need more flavor. You'll get there.
And you know what? I've noticed that. Like,
Mhm.
I definitely have transcended. I've moved
You're
on.
moving on.
I'm moving on.
Still, your favorite cheese is probably St. Angel. Didn't you have it for lunch today?
I had it for lunch and I had it for a midnight snack.
Yeah. Brie for lunch, Brie for dinner.
If we're out of St. Angel, it's because I bought it.
Yeah. It's because Christina bought it all. Let's see what else is on here.
All yays, Annie and Slick Williams Slim. All yays on the rind.
Oh, good.
Hey.
I like to hear it. The right way to eat cheese.
Yes. So far, I really like the herb dauphinoise and the brioche.
And the green hill, so all of them.
I like all of them. Yes, I do. It's true. It's spicy to me. You don't think it's spicy?
Well, it is spicy,
But I mean, like,
that's
not
good.
too spicy.
Not, oh, it's too spicy? Oh, look at me, I'm growing.
Is that something else over time?
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh, and the chocolate covered figs. I'm gonna try that with the brioche.
Yeah, whenever people ask for a dessert cheese without having something flavored, like with cranberries, we always give them brioche.
Yeah, so that's a good thing to talk about. Like if you want to make a dessert plate, do triple cream bries.
For one of our very first pop-up dinners, one that was still in the shop, I made a St. Angel cheesecake. And it had a chocolate chip strawberry on top, and it tasted like St. Angel, but tasted like cheesecake. It was amazing. What I did is I actually used the rind, which is a funny thing.
Really?
I took chunks of St. Angel, put it in the food processor, and just blitzed the whole thing, and then I put it through a strainer. So
Okay.
you couldn't, I mean, there wasn't really any rind in the strainer because it was in the food processor, but like it was all throughout the cheesecake. It was just like heaven. That's how you could cook with the brie.
Can you make like a whipped, like something like with the St. Angel?
Yeah, just put
Didn't
it,
you do like another dinner with a pastry with St. Angel in it?
maybe. Maybe. I don't know. There's been a few. But yeah, I mean, you can whip any of the bries and it gets it to a lighter texture. So you could even make like a dessert cheese dip, like some St. Angel, whip it in the food processor, put it in a bowl, like drizzle it with some honey, and then you could use like cookies or chocolate covered pretzels.
That is
You're welcome.
Oh, yes. Oh my god, that sounds so good.
Question from Carol, ladies. Can you talk about what to look for? If it's overripe, is there a smell, or what do you look for? And does brie go bad?
It does. So, once you cut into the brie, you would want to eat it within 7 days for sure. It should never smell sharp or sour. The rind should never be, I guess, like a dark brown. Now, normal brown like this right here is
It's like a
totally
little
fine.
tan,
But
that's fine.
That's fine. But when it's like gooey on the outside and you're touching it, and it's like, or red too. I think.
Yeah, red is weird.
Red's bad.
Well,
Oh,
this kind of red, kind of orangish, is on purpose. If you start with a white cheese and it starts growing weird red stuff, that's not good.
no. And it shouldn't be sticky either on the outside.
Yeah, no wet on the outside. I feel like the fromage, at least, we'd have to have a wheel for quite a while for it to go bad, which we don't. I mean, like I said, we go through like a wheel a day.
Yeah.
But I've never had an issue with this cheese going bad. If anything, this one the Brie, I wouldn't ever call it bad. It's just so soft. Oh, I have seen a couple pieces that like maybe get lost in the back of the fridge of our little snacking area of our fridge. And the rind does get a little bit brown, and the paste of the cheese does turn like an odd grayish color. I feel like it should be very visually apparent that you shouldn't eat it anymore.
Yes.
You know, if you're questioning, then it's a no. But if it's like, oh my gosh, this has been in my fridge for 2 weeks and it still looks beautiful, just eat it. I'm sure it's still great. There's no, like, freshest within a week, but time-wise, like, if it still looks and smells great, just
that's a good general rule.
Yeah.
For sure. And it definitely shouldn't be, like, runny, super runny, unless it's meant to be like that, right? Like,
yes and no. I mean, things like Harbison is kind of like a Brie style, soft ripened. You know, that cheese is supposed to be runny. You're supposed to cut the top off and scoop it out.
Right.
So,
always ask your local cheesemonger.
yeah, we'll help you.
Yes. And our friend Donna asked, can it ever be frozen?
No.
Don't freeze cheese. Don't do it.
The only thing I freeze are my Parmesan rinds to use in soup. I don't freeze cheese. It doesn't come back the way it should. It like changes the makeup of the cheese.
I think,
Not a fan. Yeah.
Everyone's loving, Sarah, your recipe ideas. And here's a good one, too, with the Brie. Brie with ginger snap cookies from Stephanie.
Ooh. Bet that's really good. You don't even need to add anything to Brie for that one. It's just dip right in.
We should have put those stroopwafel cookies. Dip that in the Brie.
The stroop waffles, those would be really good.
All right, we're going to move on to a little different Brie style cheese. We're going to do Florette, which is in the bottom right-hand corner. It's a goat Brie, and so it's made from the same cheesemakers as the Fromage Dauphinois and the Herb Dauphinois. I think it is I find it stinky.
You do?
I do, yeah. So,
Well, I'm gonna smell it. So
yeah, I can definitely.
it smells goaty. So this is my two, like, my thing when Gina's stealing snacks. You hear her crunching in the background. Here's my thing with calling things stinky. For me, a wash rind cheese is stinky.
Okay.
A blue cheese is not stinky. A cheese that smells goaty is not stinky. Like, when I think of stinky cheese, I think of a category of cheeses like a wash rind cheese that is actually, like, smelly.
Okay.
Personally. I mean, yeah, this one does smell funky, but I think it's like a goaty smell.
So I would say it smells goaty.
There you go.
Yeah, see? I like it. Okay.
People love to hear that their cheese smells barnyardy. But this one's like a fresh goat smell. It's not like a...
Yeah, it's not bad.
No.
It's just, I can definitely
I think it
detect the
smells
smell. Ooh, I'm going to try it with the raspberry. That just sounds good too. Yeah, because goat cheese comes with fruit a lot of
Mhm.
I like it with
love
the
it.
raspberry. Yeah.
Goat cheese is probably my favorite kind of cheese. And you get the goat tangy flavor, but you get that creamy texture because goat cheeses are generally more crumbly, more just not as smooth and creamy like this. It's really good.
And the wheel's a little different too. It's not a circle, it's like a octagon.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why, but it looks cool. I like it. It's like a pillow.
Yeah, something a little bit different.
Yeah. How are they liking the Florette?
Everyone's still chewing. But a question came up, can Brie be made anywhere, France, Switzerland, USA, or special areas or such?
Yes. So going back to traditional brie and all that. So brie style cheeses, yes, can be made in any country with any type of milk. The traditional brie, like back in the 8th century, that had to be cow's milk from northern France, and the certain size, shape, and all of that.
And kept raw,
And raw.
Raw. That's
Exactly.
That's
the
the big
huge thing. That's
yeah.
the huge thing. So that's something we can't get here, but one day we will try it in France.
Mm-hmm. Oh, something I forgot to bring up. I'll have to double check about the floret because it's made from the same company. But the herbed affinois is vegetarian. It's vegetarian cheese. Do you know if the floret's vegetarian also?
I would guess that it is because the
That's what I would
Dauphinois
guess,
is.
too.
We could look it up while
Yeah.
you do that. We'll check that.
But
Mm-hmm.
this one possibly is. We'll let you know. But people are often surprised by seeing a tag in our shop that says vegetarian. They're like, well, aren't all cheeses vegetarian? But so when you're making cheese, the rennet that is used to coagulate the cheese and form the curds and the whey, that comes from an enzyme in the stomach lining of a baby calf. So I love the story that Rob always tells. He's like, you know, back in the day, these farmers, they're going to use all parts of their cow. You know, a calf dies, and so they see the stomach, and they're like, well, I could use that to transport something. They put some milk in the stomach's, the calf's stomach. They carry it along with them. They're like, oh, I got to do some work. They set down the stomach full of milk. They come back and it's curdled, and the guy's like, hey, let's try and eat this. Like,
Oh my god.
and then there's cheese. I mean, and then that's the simplest way to kind of tell the story of how they discovered that something inside the lining of a baby calf's stomach
I love
could
that
form
story so
cheese.
much. Yeah, I just picture like a children's book, and it's like a cartoon of this.
Yes, exactly. That's what I think of too. Like you know, when you run away from home, you've got your little sack on the end of a stick, and that's like over your shoulder. That's what I picture with like this stomach hanging with the milk, and then there's just like cheese hanging along.
See, Sam walk.
Yeah. But so vegetarian cheeses don't use that enzyme from the cow. They use a bacterial rennet that is crafted up in a lab. So, is this vegetarian?
It is not vegetarian.
Oh, the
just
floret
regular.
is not vegetarian.
Oh.
Okay, but the herbed affinois is. So that's why I kind of wanted to bring it up. Just kind of an interesting thing.
No good.
I heard about wine not being vegetarian.
No, vegan.
Vegan.
Some
Oh.
wine is not vegan. That's another one of those things, like the filtration system in wine.
they must use some
They use
kind of-
some sort of animal product. So not all wine is vegan. We don't carry vegan cheese.
Are there any vegans? Do you guys know? That would be.
About wine, the vegan.
Yeah.
Question: why are cheeses from Carol made in wheels? And if you don't know, I can jump in. But wheels.
Great question, Sarah.
Great question, Gina.
I don't want to step
I
anyone.
feel like no one's ever asked me that question.
Yeah.
Like around. Like
Yeah.
why not a square? I mean, we do have some square cheeses, but
We do.
why not a square?
Why not square? Round ripens more even.
Okay,
That's all it is.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because a block of cheddar, the center is very, like, different. Like, it's farther away from, like, the thin piece of brie. That does make a lot of sense.
So square ones are harder to ripen.
Yeah, okay. And then you get corners. You don't want corners
You
in
don't
cheese.
to serve. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
St. Angel.
St. Angel is a square.
It is.
Yeah, okay.
My second favorite cheese.
People just wanting to be different. That's what that is. And probably the same with the octagon cheese. Why is it an octagon? Because why not?
Why not?
And then there's the heart
Marketing.
shaped.
Oh yeah, we do get a lot of heart-shaped cheeses
Ooh.
around Valentine's Day.
What other shapes have you seen? Anything cool? Star.
Tortilla. Have you seen tortilla?
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's like a cone shaped.
That's right.
Cone shaped cheese.
Google it.
Think Madonna.
Okay.
We've seen pyramid shapes.
Like the Bermuda Triangle? Is
Bermuda
that-
Triangle. Oh, Bermuda Triangle, no.
Oh,
Because that's like how would you call a triangle cylinder?
a log.
Like a triangle log.
Okay.
Yeah. But then a pyramid is like, you know, the four sides and then the square on the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
We have a couple of those. But yeah. Mostly circles. Trying to look around and see.
Stephanie
I know.
just brought it right out the shape of the tortilla.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're right, Stephanie. They were asking about the age, Carol, too, of aging of Bries. In about 2 months, you're not going to find too much more longer than that.
Yeah. So, like I know the Dauphinois will take about 2 weeks, correct? Yeah. So, because it's pasteurized milk, too, right?
Yeah, so you don't have to wait that, was it 60 days, 90 days?
60 days. 60 days.
When you're importing, did we touch on this?
We did, but
Yeah.
you can.
Importing soft cheeses from Europe, they have to age for at least 60 days so they're not the raw milk before importing them. So we don't get the really good stuff when all these people come back and they're like, I have this wonderful cheese in France. I'm like, we probably can't get it. Go back to France.
Go back.
Bring us some.
What other cheeses from France?
What do you mean?
Like raw milk that like we can't get here.
Oh, Apoise, like traditional Apoise, the Vacherin, Camembert, Morbier, a lot of those big name ones. We get a pasteurized version that is still delicious, but
Yes.
not as good as the classic. That's the one thing I want to do is go to France and taste real cheese. That's on my list.
We can do a fromage de France from France.
From France.
From France.
Right? Is that in the budget, Gina?
We'll work on that. You talk to Roger. You talk
Yeah,
to him.
great. How about you do that?
I can see it now. That's cute.
We can wear little berets.
I just thought it'll be under the Eiffel Tower in the background.
Yeah.
Oh. That's great.
I think this one's my favorite so far, the floret.
I've been eating the cheese with the truffle chips.
Oh,
I like it.
I'll try that.
Gives it a little certain je ne sais quoi. Something extra. What does everyone like so far? What's the favorite?
Refilling. Anybody need a refill?
Oh, with the berries.
Light.
Yeah.
Just refresh.
Yeah.
Watch this glass come out of nowhere.
Yep.
Hello.
The floating glass.
My pouring.
Thank you.
skills
That's
are
great.
really-
Look at you.
Are we gonna finish the bottle?
No, there's like half of it left.
Yeah, that's because
Champagne glasses are so tiny. It makes you think like there's a lot of wine in here. There's like probably 3 ounces of this.
it's so good with the Brie. All right, last.
Saving the best for last.
So this one will be.
It's in the
smelling.
center, yeah.
Yes.
This one, yeah, I would call it stinky.
All right, I'm gonna smell it first before I taste it.
And this one, the rind, the rind makes the cheese on this one. Like you have to eat the rind. Try it.
It
There's
smells
also-
like garlic,
Oh, it just smells
mushroomy.
like funk. Like
Yeah.
that's the perfect just funk smell. Love
I'm gonna try it by itself.
You can see how glistening and like
Ooh.
room temp. This one's like perfect room temperature.
So far, we have votes for Green Hill and Herb Dauphinois.
Oh,
How many
nice.
votes? Ryan actually though likes the triple cream and the Green Hill. The
Attaboy.
Brie.
Good job. That's what we eat at home.
I don't have
Ooh.
to share cheese at home. My husband's lactose intolerant.
Oh, that's a shame.
It's all mine. But our son loves cheese. He's the one I'm gonna have to share with.
I just ate the Rime, and I actually really like it.
You do?
I do.
You don't have to fake it for the
I'm not.
TV.
No, it. Okay, I'm gonna try it without. It wasn't that bad.
I don't even tell the difference. I just eat the whole thing.
Maybe that's what it is.
Just eat it. I'd say this is like perfectly ripe camembert. It comes to us generally younger than this. So like this camembert we've probably had for 2 weeks, which sounds like a long time, but it's really not. You want that for this camembert. It's not cut open, it's wrapped, it's perfect. When it comes to us, it's young and it's firm and it's not very flavorful. So I'd say a couple weeks on the shelf, you start to feel it get squishy. You start to see the rind like the grayness of the rind starts to poke through. It's not perfectly white anymore, and it has this funk. It has the perfect texture.
Mm-hmm.
You're not having to you're not having issues with spreading the cheese. This is a perfect wheel of camembert. Now you know
No, I know.
what to look for.
I like the rind because it adds like this texture and maybe like a little bit of more flavor too.
Mm-hmm. I told you so.
It's happening. It's happening.
Suddenly, oh, poor Green Hill, no flavor.
Next week,
tingling.
it's more all the blue cheeses. Can't stop me now. But it's different from like the double cream or the triple cream.
It is nothing like the fromage.
No, like a tradition. So a lot of people talk about like Brie and camembert go to like they're always brought up like
Side by side.
side by side. So when someone comes in, they ask for like a Brie cheese. Do you want something strong like a camembert, or do you want something lighter and mild like the Daffamore or the Green Hill?
Mm-hmm. So we'll say like creamy buttery or earthy mushroomy traditional, and that generally separates people to know what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
This is the earthy mushroomy traditional.
And it's made a similar way as the Brie, but with Brie, the cultures are added in the beginning of making the cheese, whereas the camembert, it's added 5 different times during the cheese making process. So that's what makes it so strong, those strong flavors.
No fun to it.
We had a question from Carol about reblochon, which is kind of in the Brie family,
yeah.
but different, and we can't get that here because of the 60 days in raw milk. But she asked what the difference was, and that'd be the washed.
Yeah, the reblochon is washed on the outside. We do get a reblochon style called Delice de Jura. That's a very popular one. It's a very thin wheel, probably only about an inch thick, about this big, washed on the outside. So it gets that funk, that stinkiness, that sticky orange outside to it. So it's almost like a Brie that starts out and it's, they've transformed it into something different. So you get the buttery, the creamy, but then you also get the stinky, the funky, the sharp, all that stuff at the end too. The Delice de Jour we haven't had in a while. I've noticed it's been harder to get the stinkier cheeses. We've been having trouble getting a Poisse, having trouble getting Taleggio. I don't know what it is about the stinky ones. I don't know if we've had issues with importing, and that's the biggest thing we've seen is importing is taking a lot longer. Cheeses are going bad in transport. So that has been our biggest thing.
That makes sense.
But we do get notes saying like this, and this didn't pass the check here in the United States, and it's just not good quality. We don't want to sell it to you. Yeah.
Interesting. That makes sense. I like it.
You like the camembert?
I do. I think that was my favorite. Yay! Who knew?
I mean, on this plate, do you feel like you'd be able to tell which one is a domestic one? I mean, I know it just happened to also be the mildest one that we tried, but in your head, can you tell? Does it make you think like it's not a French cheese?
I think it's hard because they look very similar, and like the Rime too looks very similar. But I feel like this almost becomes a little bit more. Not only is it like stronger and it smells like, but like the texture is a little bit more creamier to me.
Like oozy, tacky,
yeah. And I think this is like the closest you're gonna get to like a real camembert here in the U.S. So if this is what it's gonna be like, then Fromage with Friends France edition. That's what we're gonna do.
Carol asked Sarah, if you order directly from Europe, how do you get the cheese?
If we order directly from Europe, we have distributors here in San Diego. A few major distributors that we use. They import from all over, and we order from them. I think both of our distributors are either one's up in LA, one's downtown. Not sure, but they come and deliver to us. But they do the importing, and we buy from them. But they'll let us know, they communicate with the people giving them cheese from France, from Italy, from Spain, and they'll let them know, like, the cheese was not good, and then they tell us so that we know that they're not just not getting the cheese, that there is something real going on.
why we can't connect.
How about Australian cheeses, Carol asked.
What do
And
we
I
have
can
that's
help, yeah.
Australian?
Roaring 40s Blue is the most popular.
Yes, I knew there was something.
Meredith?
The Meredith.
Ooh,
marinated
Meredith is really good if you
cheese.
haven't.
They used to call it feta, but it's goat and sheep, so they can't call it feta.
But it's insane. It comes in like an oil with herbs.
Yeah, a little jar of cubed goat and sheep milk feta style, marinated in olive oil, some thyme, black peppercorns. It is so
It's been our lunch a couple times. So good. Baguette and
and a jar of marinated feta. Australia, couple things. A lot of people have been asking about Asian cheeses. I have never seen one, tasted one, nothing like that.
You should look into that. That's probably kind of.
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Have you ever
Tough
had
to get.
cheese from
Nope.
Asia?
Nope.
No.
Mm-mm. Once a Japanese, I'll take that back, a Japanese cheese, but it wasn't here. It was
Okay.
in Europe, so.
Oh, okay.
But never seen it here.
Never
so
here.
It does exist.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I want to learn a little more about the cows in France.
Ah, we talked about this a little bit, didn't we?
A little bit, yeah.
So a lot of people ask why they can have cheese in France, but they can't have cheese in America, and that has a lot to do with the A2 cows that are in France. There's a genetically altered the American cows here for mass milk production, and people have become allergic to that. I don't know the correct terminology. I don't know if it's the enzyme or the protein or something in the milk that a lot of people in America are sensitive to, and the cows in Europe don't have that. So that's why a lot of people come in asking for specific European cheeses, or they ask for cheeses that are labeled A2 milk. Like you've seen A2 milk at the grocery store. There are specific cheeses that are made with that A2 milk. But in rule of thumb, if you're lactose sensitive, I'd say go with, or not lactose, but the A2 sensitive, go for the European cheeses, because more often than not, you're going to be good with the cheese.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
We had a couple people ask recently, so I kind of
Oh.
looked it up a little bit. But yeah.
Alright. Well, I like the Rime. And the Camembert. The Dauphinoise, it's not too bad. I like the Rime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we doing for our next one? What do you feel like? For our next
Ooh.
Fromage with Friends?
I'm saving blue for last. Full disclaimer. Blue is last.
Blue's last.
5 years from now. Alright, it's time. I moved away. What about Alpines?
Ooh, Alpines would be good.
Oh, and then we can make, ooh, I have some ideas.
Oh
already.
no.
Because it's a really good cheese to melt.
Yeah.
What else?
What's cool about the Alpines too, though, is that it's a very broad category. There's Swiss Alpine cheeses, French Alpine cheeses. There's domestic Alpine style cheeses.
Oh,
So that may be a fun one.
yeah. I just like the names. Schnabbelhorn.
Schnabbelhorn, that's one of our favorites. Hollerhocker, Gruyere, Alpenhorn's been a new favorite of ours.
Yeah, I don't know, is Alpine good with you guys? Because
Sounds good to me.
I'm ready.
Alpines it is.
Alright.
Does anybody have any more questions? I think, our plates are almost empty. That means the night is almost over.
Yes.
We'll have to clean up and go home.
Yes.
Yep, but votes yes on the rind. That was the biggest
Oh, good.
votes today.
All right.
I think that's good. I feel like that's our goal here, is to teach people.
Annie loved the Brie and Florette.
Oh,
Good, good.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Fromage with Friends number 2.
Number 2.
Brie style, or Brie category cheeses. Take a look at our website, see if you want to hop on for any of our next Fromage with Friends. I think coming up we have, what's next? First Friday Flight is coming up. It's about to be May, my goodness.
My birthday.
And her birthday. So for the first Friday Flight this month is going to be cheese paired with chocolates. So that's going to be a really fun one. We've got a mozzarella making class coming up as well. We have an upcoming Wino Wednesday. Next is going to be cava. This is almost what what month is it? May, March. This is like 1 year since we've been doing our virtual classes.
68 of them.
68 virtual
Wow.
classes. Our first Wino Wednesday, wasn't it Kava? So this,
Yes,
So this is like coming full circle, Kava again, a different Kava. But head to our website, tune in. Thanks so much for joining us, and cheers to cheese.
Cheers.
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 Oh,
Cheers.
cheers.
Good night, everyone.